Okay, Marie-Pierre says, becoming more and more precise about my niche and doing the suggested exercises. For example, what books would your ideal clients have in their bookcase? I wonder if I'm not entering a sort of narcissist mirror game. My niche narrowing to people who are just like me. If they already have the same books as me, shared similar interests. What is it I can contribute that they don't get already? Great question. Well, Marie-Pierre, where are you calling in from?
Hello, I'm calling from Quebec, Canada, near Montreal.
Where near Montreal?
Near Sherbrooke in the Eastern Township.
Ah, well, bienvenue.
Oh, merci.
Okay, so it's a good question. This is one of the toughest things is, you could imagine there's 4 different levels of this in terms of the ideal client. There's the basics, which is, do you have this problem I help with? Do you want this result? That's sort of a given, but that's level 1. Level 2 is there the must-haves. So, you must have this kind of a budget. You must be willing to spend this much time. You must have this physical equipment. We're going rock climbing, but you need to bring your own rock climbing gear. That's a must.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did your exercise of the 4 levels.
Oh, good. Right. And then there's the, what would be nice?
Great. Yeah.
Yes. And then there's the deal breakers of, if you have these things, it's not a fit. And yeah, what goes on those lists is a big question. It's one of those things we can have a huge list, but then it's like, okay, the question is, what conditions would bring out my best work?
Yeah.
So what kind of a person would bring out my best? Not that everybody's going to be a bullseye, but who's a bullseye for me? Who's the kind of person? Where do they need to be in their process? What needs to be true for them? To bring out my best. And there may be, it's like, yeah, if they're just into these people's work, we share a language, we share an understanding, and I don't have to do all this remedial education. We can just get right to it. This brings out my best. But there's this question of, okay, but if they already have read the books, they have all the language, why do they need you? Here's why they need you across the board. This is for everybody. Why do they need us if they already know the stuff? Well, because information is not enough, number 1. I mean, there's not much I'm saying here that's not already on my YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, 1,200 videos on YouTube now. It's all free. There's dozens and dozens of hours. So why don't you just go do that? Why are you wasting your time here? You had to schedule this shit. You had to be somewhere on time. You could have just watched those in bed at 2 a.m. This is less easy. So why are you here? Well, you're here because you want answers to specific questions. So 1, easy is the new free. Yeah, this is one of the reasons they'll work with us. Just I can get my specific question answered rather than just a bunch of theory. And I'm looking for something for hours and trying to translate, and that's number 2, translation. It's theory is not enough. People really need help translating it into their life, into their particular situation. It's I often say this with my puttering sessions. They're almost all about niching. And yet that's the thing I've got the most free content on. How could it be? It should be the only thing nobody asks me about because it's all free. But actually, the more they learn, the more they need help translating it into their situation. And this is so true for everybody. For all of your businesses, you could give all of your content away. Basically, I do. And it's not that it reduces the hunger to work with you. It increases the hunger to work with you. You think you're like, okay, here's all the free stuff. Now don't bother me. But you get more bothered. The fuck? You just have to really zip it if you don't want anyone to talk with you. Because the more you share your point of view, the more people think, it makes sense. I like it, but I'm so special. And how does it translate? And the third thing is it's connected we can't see ourselves properly. Or we can see a bunch of ourselves, but I can't see the back of my own head. Can't see the back of my neck. There's a bunch of body parts I can't see, without great difficulty. it's hard to take a look. And for others, it's the most obvious thing to see. So just by being outside of somebody's situation, we have something to offer, even if we have no skill. You know, we've all had the experience of you write your homepage and you've been staring at it for a week. And you go to maybe run it by a friend or something, and they point out all these huge spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes, paragraph breaks in the wrong place. And you're just like, how did I not see it? Because you're too close. You know, your idiot friend can give you better advice about your relationship than you can. It's like, oh yeah, buddy, you're just being a dick, right? Oh yeah, that wasn't nice. Really? It's like, they got no clue, but they got more of a clue about you than you got about you sometimes. So it's if we could all do it ourselves and be self-sufficient, most of us would have. Most of us spend a lot of our life trying to do that thing, and it just doesn't work very well. We just need help from others. So that's at least my opening response. But how am I doing?
And I realized that many people that I went to get nourishment on certain things, they also probably were, let's say, on the same wavelength and would have enjoyed the books in my library, but it was just their unique take, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you think the coaches you hire are just so much hipper than you? You think their lives are just so much more together than you? I mean, in some ways, yeah, but they have their blind spots too. And that's I guess the point, we all have our blind spots. And we're just hopeless around it. And then, you know, I mean, with Michael, with his website, onebigregret.com, I mean, do you think it's because he doesn't have any regrets? You know, or you think he's just completely on the other side of every regret he's ever had? Or it's not so. You know, I'm sure. You think it's that I don't have marketing troubles from time to time? It's rare. Every once in a while, I do get help from a marketing coach, and it's just amazing to be on the receiving end of it. To be asked the questions I ask everybody else, and I forget to ask myself. It's like, wow, this is amazing to be coached by a marketing coach. No wonder people pay for this. This is great. So, anyways, that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you, Tad. Mm-hmm.
Volker was saying imposter syndrome and overgiving and a lack of boundaries seem really similar. Okay. Is there a question in that, or is that just
No. That was just a comment for at an earlier time.
okay. Well, it's true. That's a good insight.